Welcome to a show both feared and revered by man and beast, the heliosblog. Today on the Whatever podcast, these girls say they don't need men to protect them. Well, it's 2024, right?
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Simple. We let you talk. Okay. So, two things. First, you absolutely do need men to protect you. This may be by proxy, either through the military or through law enforcement officers. I'm assuming if somebody you know were to be murdered, you would not just protect yourself, you would not investigate it yourself, you would appeal to who? Primarily men who are in law enforcement. I'm assuming, unless you just, if someone you know who got murdered, you'd hope it wasn't investigated.
I would appeal to law enforcement as a whole, not to specifically men in law enforcement.
Disaster.
Which is
and to be quite honest
men.
with you, if I don't personally own a gun. Maybe I will one day. I don't know. I don't really feel strongly either way at this moment in time about it. But I can tell you, if I need protection, if I own a gun, I don't need your muscles. I'm actually, I can handle it.
Oh, man. Living embodiment of I'm strong and independent, I don't need no man. Disaster.
Yeah. I don't need, I just need, here's the thing. I need tools. I don't need men. I need tools, and men hoard all the tools and
to you, men are tools. You don't understand that. Okay.
Resources, so I have to ask you guys for those tools.
So hold on.
I can use them myself. I know how to use them.
Men are stopping women from building guns?
No, that's not what I said. Like, you're taking it literally because you can't look at the bigger picture. I'm saying that, like, yes. I have always been in a position.
Exactly, yes. Men keep you from building the weapon. By the way, it's actually funny. I didn't even think of this point, but of course, has a girl ever built a gun or designed one? I mean, maybe, but I think more likely than that is they haven't, and they're using, right? They're using a man's tool to defend them, and then saying they don't need men, even though men invented the very thing that they're using to defend themselves with.
In every job I've been in, school, everywhere, is that there's a man who's in power over me that I have to go to get better. I have to go to get the promotion. I have to go to.
Indeed, because life is competitive, and men tend to work harder than women to achieve those things. Men are willing to sacrifice more. But what you're saying, Mrs. Manhater, is that is a problem. That's a barrier to you. All you see is your own world, your own events that have happened to you. You don't see the general picture.
Convinced to write me
no. Hold on.
If I have the tools myself, I don't need you. Because I have to ask you for them.
You need to stop because
I know how to use them myself.
You're not allowing me to go point by point on this. Now you're talking about promotions and stuff. Let's go back to the draft. So you made two claims there. You made the claim that, well, if I was in your position, I would advocate that men not be drafted. So let's talk about that. Okay. So I know you live in like fairy tale land where in your world, military conflict would never exist, even if women hold. Even if. Hold on. Let me finish. In the same way you're strong. Okay. In your fairy tale world, even if women had all the power, held all positions of power, perhaps you think that there would not be any military conflicts. I think this is wrong. There would still.
No, actually, who was it? Queen Elizabeth is one of the people that was responsible for the British Empire being so dominant and taking control of so much territory. Was she a man?
Still be military conflicts.
By the way, that's the empire that oppressed the whole world, according to you liberal womanists. Controlled by none other than a woman. Queen Elizabeth.
Regardless, so you're saying that you would advocate that there should be no draft period.
Yes,
or
what
no?
I'm advocating for, because you're right, in anyone's idyllic world, there wouldn't. Who wants war?
Okay.
No one wants
So-
war.
If Queen Elizabeth heard you talking, she would think you're a hateful shrew. She wouldn't be on your side.
Is
So in
there
my idyllic
war?
world,
Is
there wouldn't be war, sure, but I know war is a necessity. I'm very aware of that. I'm not saying that
Okay,
we can't
but
survive
so-
without war, but I'm
So then you would advocate for women being in all positions of power and being the soldiers that go to fight? Do you realize that if a man gets shot, a woman can't carry him? Oftentimes on these battlefields, the women become a liability. What if you have to take that communication equipment up a mountain? You can't lift it. It's 50 pounds.
saying that the people who participate in that war should be able to choose whether they're men or women.
But-
That's it. If
so
I have
if
a
I were
son,
to tell
I don't
you-
want to know that he's going to be taken against his own.
Yes, but what if people are trying to take control of your country and everybody decides to opt out? What then?
Well, like, I feel strongly about protecting my sons equally as my
Right.
daughters.
But if I were to tell you, it would just, it's almost a waste of time to have a conversation of trying to get rid of the draft, because the government will never relinquish its ability to call upon its citizenry
Right.
in a situation or scenario where the country needs to essentially force its citizenry into the defense of the nation. The government, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, will never relinquish this power.
Yeah.
So assuming that, you can agree that there's no scenario where the draft will never exist.
You're
That's the
right. In the
problem with the
society that
government.
we've built, that's what I'm saying, is a lot of shit in the society.
Ah, yes. It's the Pol Pot argument, which is our civilization is broken. We need true communism to replace it, because true communism works, but the communism that we've practiced historically, which is meant to replace the current system, that was wrong, and the current system is wrong. No, this is the best system we have. Even though it's imperfect, it's the best imperfect system we have. Anyway, people like this that are brainwashed from university, there's no saving them. They return everything back to communism. They're just useful idiots, right? For a failed system that only aims to destroy.
Society needs to be
War-
dismantled,
okay.
dude, because
But war's never going away.
doesn't work.
War
This
and
is not the
conflict.
only way that we can work. There's many
war and
different ways.
conflict is never going to go away.
You're right, it's not, but there's different ways to go about.
Yes, everything would be all right and great if we just dismantled capitalism. Everything would fix itself. There'd be no chaos. There'd be no power vacuum. There'd be no civil war. There'd be nothing. Don't look at the French Revolution, where an entrenched system was replaced with a less popular, shall we say, system. No, don't look at that. That's people in the past. They were old-fashioned. They didn't know how to conduct countrywide shifting of the guard, as it were. No, you, Miss Butterfly Tattoo, you could do it better.
About it is my point. And do I have all the answers? No.
Okay,
but is
but
the way
so-
we're doing it currently
so-
satisfying everyone? No. We need to do something different. That's what I'm saying. We need, and that's what is the.
Welcome to modern day 2024 universities. This is what they teach women. They don't teach them calculus. They don't teach them programming. They don't teach them, useful skills that'll help them in the real world. No. Most women go and study this crap in university. And this is what they become. These useful mouthpieces, these mouth breathers for a system that would just destroy their own country. And there is a very vocal, I mean, it's nearly a majority, right? Like, just look at who's being voted into power of in the United States, who's in the running. I mean, what more needs to be said? This is why that people like that have a mouthpiece. This is why they've been brainwashed to believe crap like this, to the detriment of their own country.
The issue here is I love this country and I want to make it better. I'm not talking shit about this country. I'm saying there's flaws with it and I want to help improve it.
Okay, but so you're saying I would advocate for you guys, but you guys won't advocate for me. So again, I'll say it again. There's no scenario where the government is going to relinquish their right to draft the citizenry. So then, wouldn't you agree that perhaps in this situation, women should also be subject to military conscription?
Yes.
100%.
Okay.
It needs to be equal either way.
Right.
Either everyone gets to choose or no one gets to choose. That's what I'm saying.
Everything needs to be equal. Everything 50-50. That will create a great society. Also, all resources need to be shared equally, regardless of effort or ability. That also is fair.
But in
Would
any
it
case,
suck? Yes,
so
but it would be
But despite 100 years of equality when it comes to voting, women still are not obliged to be subject to military conscription. And
wow, look, I predicted it without even knowing. The Kamala SIMP brain is completely cooked. God help her future kids.
so, because of this, that is precisely one example in which men don't have bodily autonomy. So you're not actually addressing my argument here. You're just saying, well, I would advocate that men should not be drafted, but I'm telling you currently, as a rebuttal to your point of men don't have bodily autonomy, it's actually quite the opposite.
What about, we know mental health sucks in this country for everyone, men, women, children, doesn't matter who you are. But when the military does drafts, I know they don't take people
compared to the rest of the world. No.
With bipolar, BPD, all these other mental illnesses. So if we're going to compare the two between abortion rights and being drafted for the military, what about women who have severe mental deficits, who struggle to live day to day, who
like you
necessarily in the drafts wouldn't be drafted but are still forced to carry a child that they mentally or
they're not forced. That's not a thing in the United States.
Physically are incapable of caring for completely.
I'm not sure I entirely follow. I mean, I would assume that if you have some severe mental incapacity, whether you're a man or a woman, this would preclude you from volunteer service and a draft.
Yeah,
even in
so that they're protected in that sense. But I mean, women, when it comes to abortion rights, right? People who suffer from bipolar, all these mental illnesses that make it not only hard to function as a day-to-day person, but as a full parent who is responsible for another living being. Why would they be forced to carry that child to term if they found out they were pregnant?
They're not. In the United States, that's not a thing. They're not forced. There were countries where you were more or less forced, but these were communist countries, which is what Miss Butterfly Tattoo is advocating changing capitalism to.
Later in life.
So just to summarize this, make sure I'm not strawmanning this. What you're saying is, yes, okay, this is true. Men lose their autonomy this way, and women lose their autonomy this way. But the exemptions that men get is that if they have mental health issues, they don't have to go into military service. But women, if they have mental health issues, would still have to bear the child.
Yes.
So this is not fair, is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's not.
So, is she saying that biologically speaking, they have to bear children? There's nothing they can do about that? Well, I mean, there are many benefits you get to being a girl, especially in 2024. So, I don't know what to tell you. Yes, that would be a quote-unquote downside, even though it's not really. You're painting it in this conversation as a downside when it's not actually a downside, it's actually an upside. That's what allows you to have the special bond mother and child. It's not. You're even against having children as a girl, going against your biological imperative. Think about how badly this girl's brain has been destroyed by what she's heard and seen. Just think about it. How bad these liberal degrees are.
Now at least I understand. So that I do have this down correctly, right? Okay, so what I would say to this is, okay, fair enough, but you do realize that draft standards, how they're set, are actually designed to be lowered instantly by necessity.
Yeah,
Meaning
I'm
that-
sure if they
yeah, meaning
need
that if there's
soldiers,
a-
they're
yeah,
gonna
if there's
be
a
like,
war-
oh, he's a little fucked up.
Yeah,
That's
he's a
okay,
little
we'll
fucked up.
take him
In
anyways.
fact, they will lower the IQ standards significantly.
Yeah.
Right. They'll lower all
They just
standards
need
across the board.
bodies.
Yeah, they just need bodies. And so now your BPD, this and that. Oh, you got some medication that'll help you with that. Get your ass to the front line. So. Essentially, these things will be removed via necessity. So it's not a disqualifier from you getting drafted,
not
even with mental
completely.
illness.
Like in a perfect world, yeah, but not completely. But they don't have that standard for pregnant women.
I do. I mean, I have really quickly one thing on this, and I'll pass it back to Andrew.
They do have. They do have. What? What do you mean? They don't have that standard for what? They don't have to be drafted, or is she saying pregnant women have no choice but to get pregnant? They do have a choice.
So when it comes to the draft, that would be, you'd be forced to do that by the government. The government isn't forcing you to have sex.
No, but sex is a natural and healthy thing. No one's
So-
forcing you.
Yeah.
No one's forcing you, but
There is a bit of a
life.
differentiation
It
there. I mean,
happens.
that's all my piece.
it's human nature. I feel like on the topic of sex, I feel like people have made sex such a taboo subject when all that matters is communication and consent. And if everyone's behaving and having sex in a healthy way, everyone's getting tested properly, they're communicating what they have, if they have
This girl sounds like Lady of the Night.
anything, what partners they've had. I don't feel like sex is something
I'm
that
not
people
sure.
should be ashamed
Yeah,
of.
but I'm not sure how sex being natural negates the fact that it's a choice, whereas conscription would not be. And pregnancy usually is an entailment of choice. So women who carry pregnancies via SAs, for instance, those are outliers. Those are rare, right? Most pregnancies
It
are
happen-
not.
it-
does.
I
Listen,
won't
I'm
say
not
it's not-
disputing it.
yeah.
I'm just saying that that's not the vast, overwhelming majority, not even close. So taking this into consideration, even if they were to make the SA exemption, oh, you were SA'd? Fine, then you can have the abortion. And those exemptions do exist. The exemption on the draft, there's still no choice. Whereas the sex is a choice, which leads to the pregnancy.
Well, I think the problem isn't
Final thing,
the
and I'll
people.
move it on.
I think the problem isn't the people, it's the government who wants to tell us what to do.
Well, I mean, it's 2024, right? So you should just do whatever you want, and no rule of law is necessary, right?
You have to go in the draft. I have to have this baby. I think that in itself is what's wrong, not the fact that, oh, men have these privileges and men have this and that. The government set that up, not each individual person. We are merely here existing in this.
Do you know what Socrates said was the problem with democracy? He said that democracy lends itself to demagoguery, which means smart people can use their minds and ability to manipulate in order to manipulate idiot people who then count for the vote. Case in point.
This country based off what we've been taught and told and learned through thousands of years
Yeah,
of
but you have a
translated
representative
scripts.
government, so they're representing the will of you. Isn't that what the point is?
But are they really representing every single person in this country?
Well, I mean, but that would be in the realm of impossibility, regardless of the government archetype you
That's
had.
why I feel every person should have the right to choose what they want to do with their person. Obviously, murder is wrong. You can't do something to someone else that's...
So you want Hammurabi's code? You want an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth? You want to go back to ancient laws? Sadly, ancient law systems are much more strict than the current 2024 model.
Murder, you're killing them, not respecting boundaries, consent, all this shit.
Do you mind if I test this logic real quick?
Yeah.
So you have kids. Okay. So if, your kid is an adult. When they reach an adult stage, they should be able to do what they want, right?
Pertaining to themselves, yes.
Pertaining to themselves. So your kid runs into your room, pulls out a heater, puts it up to their head and says, "This is it, Mom. I'm doing it, and I'm an adult." Are you going to let her?
I mean, at that point, that's someone you would need to get help for.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think
Wait,
any
hang on,
logical,
back up,
normal person, any logical person
Why
who
couldn't
isn't
they?
going through something, that goes back to mental health. Mental health is fucking.
Wait a second. So not everybody should have the right to do whatever they want then.
He has the right.
Yeah. So then why would you try to stop him?
Because I love them.
Right. So wait. So your love for them, you would interject and take that right away from them.
There you go. And now it's 20. And now it's back to you need a more fanciful and more complicated law code.
Right? Out of love for them?
I would offer them help.
Yeah, okay. You would offer them help by not letting them do that first. You would do whatever you could so that they put the heater down and didn't do it right then, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what Christians are trying to do for you.
But
That's your opinion. That's your
on that
opinion.
topic. On that topic.
You need a smoke break or?
Gotta take a smoke break.
Yeah, for real.
Here.
Can I touch that back on that topic? Because as someone who grew up in religion in a toxic.
You did?
I did. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. So
Wow.
I grew up in a cult, so.
I
Now I get why you're messed up.
did not celebrate my birthday, Christmas, nothing for the majority of my childhood. And the man who damn near beat my mother into submission to join him in this cult justified his actions towards his family with the Bible. I know I can't, you guys mentioned we can't say the word on here, but starts with a,
Yeah, I got to move it on, but.
That's fine.
All right, the beacon to the panel point to a heteronormative cisgendered white male of privilege who owes society reparations.
Don't read this part.
I didn't get to read it.
That's what happened? Just the halvesy? Let's read the
Okay.
rest.
Well,
I
anybody?
guess that's
What was
the
the
big
question?
one here. I guess
Understand
that's
the question.
But what
I
did
owe
it?
the reparations, is that it?
Theoretically, I don't believe in reparations. Wait, can you pop it back up?
Nope.
Oh, it's a one and done.
He said don't read this part, and we didn't read it.
I'm confused.
Fair enough. He put it out there,
No,
though.
he said don't read.
Okay, so again, the concept of reparations is insane.
Put it out there. You know what is interesting though about the abortion debate is like how dudes aren't brought in. It's always like if a woman gets pregnant, it was your choice to have sex, da da da. And it's like, bro, is this Mother Mary Immaculate Conception? Like it takes two to tango. So I feel like we need to bring guys.
Yeah, but who's it easier to have bedroom? Who is it easier for to have bedroom fun? You or him? Who effectively makes the choice? You or him? Like, do we need to say more?
Guys in more
How so?
decision making and
He stuck his penis into her and ejaculated.
I know,
He's
but
saying
like-
now
No,
that
he's
she's
saying-
pregnant.
he's-
Right,
I
no,
think
but-
he married.
Okay, but you chose to allow in your room, you chose to allow in your house, you chose to, have the kind of relationship that allowed for that to happen. You said yes on the dating app, you gave him a million signs that it was okay. And he's also highly competitive because you chose him, and those are the only men that girls choose. So
Pretty much involved.
He means
No,
how
but
so bring
how,
them in.
Yeah, but like how bring him in
Choice to
how so?
ejaculate.
Right. No, I'm saying he's part of it, but
Right.
she says bring him in. I'm asking how.
Yeah. I think conversations like this, debates like this, instead of it being among women, bring guys in. And
How- yeah,
voting, of course.
but
And I
how?
think that the reality is, like, again, like all of these topics, most people actually lie in the middle on this, and it's not an extreme of you're a murderous baby.
most men can't say no to a girl because they think that they have to act a certain way in order to get bedroom fun. Most men are beta males, including the men that allowed you to get the vote, by the way. They thought that by giving more freedom, they'd get more bedroom fun, but that's not what happened. It just concentrated it at the top.
Be killer
This
or
thing, what's good and bad? Like, how do we define that?
Exactly. And and someone mentioned that Roe v. Wade is gone, and I don't know if most of you guys probably know this. It's not gone. It just wasn't codified right on the federal level, so it's kicked down to the states. But I think voting and democracy,
Okay.
man. That's
What if a man wants the kid but she wants an abortion? Does he not get a say in that? Because she gets to
That
ultimately say
happens,
so.
yeah. That happens.
That's where it gets complicated, right?
Right,
I
of
don't
course.
see things as black and white.
Exactly.
And I don't think you should just look at, because that's complicated. That's not your. It is your body, but
If you were in that situation, 100%, you would just do what you wanted to do.
that's someone else's kid. So you have to find balance, and that's why I think there
That's where
should be
communication.
more resources for people to get through pregnancy and be able to give the child away if they want to do that. But
Well, the
that's why I
father
think,
primarily wanted to take care of it, and the mother.
But there
And
has
at
to be both sides. You know what I mean?
At the root of all this, and Andrew said it before he got up, but it really is, when it comes down to it and boils down to it, really is a religious debate. I'm a pro-choice girl, again, within reason. I think after, a certain amount of time, it shouldn't be until term. That's my point of view. I recently had a debate with a very pro-life, Christian conservative, and they truly believe that this is where life starts. So I disagree, but again, I can respect that's his point of view, is his point of view. So, I think a lot of this.
Yes, everyone has an equal truth. Their truth is the truth, according to you. All right. Let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all the notifications. Buy my books like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom and Bobby, Dylan, Renaissance Press, Brian, Andrew, Alan, Armani, and Nicholas. Shoutouts to you, most recent purchaser of both my books, Codes to Live By and Strategist Guides to Selection. Thank you. If you want coaching like Nicholas here, just send me an email. That's my email there, theheliosblog@gmail.com. And I do offer early access content on my Patreon. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. Really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.